Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 264. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who I caught jerking off to an optical illusion. He said it's not what it looks like. Teddy Bloody Dan.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am good.
Beep boop boop.
Beep beep beep. You alright?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm in a pretty good mood today.
Oh, good.
No reason, and I'm sure it'll get ruined, but...
Well, you're only going to be doing this tonight with me, so I don't know
exactly.
What do you think I'm going to do. Oh.
Nah! Tell you what, Dan. I was editing a video that will be put up probably an hour before this podcast goes up tomorrow.
Oh, teasers.
I forgot the name of the game. What was it? Hell Let Loose. And normally, when we play a game that requires me having to follow some kind of instructions, it leads to a lot of shouting from your side. Not as much as I thought there was going to be in it.
Do you know why that is, Callum?
Because I listened.
No, well, I mean, that usually doesn't stop me at all, usually. Usually you've done exactly what I've said, you've got killed or whatever, and then I still blame you, even though you've done exactly what I told you to do. That's how it works. But because I've been a manager for the last couple of years, I can't just unload on people anymore.
You still
because
do.
When I know, but I reserved my time with you to do that. But like, you know, when I was just a part of a team, you know, years ago, or whatever. Oh, I'd happily give my mouth. I give,
and that's how you
give my mouth the right good scene to. But you know, I'd again when you know them and you know what they can take and what you can get away with. You know, oh, fuck off, you stupid! You don't know nothing, me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be bloody running this place. But you know, give them all that. I could just unload, and I was always worked up. Whereas now, I can't go. Not that I've got a reason to, but I can't go. Just do your job properly, you twat. Like I can't do that because then I get bollocks for it. So because I'm trying to be a bit more reserved, I'm trying to be a bit calmer, and usually because when you do that, people tend to do what you ask very nicely, and they don't then fuck it up, Callum. So maybe I need to be treating you with a bit more dignity.
I mean, I can't see that ever happening, ever, no matter what's going on. But there is a bit in it where you literally tell me to deploy. So I do, but the timer isn't quick enough, so I've got to wait for the next deployment thing.
Oh, yeah,
and then you have a go at me because I haven't deployed quick enough. And I was like, I pressed it when you told me to press it. And you're like, well, that's not quick enough. And I was like, oh, right, I should have pressed it before you told me. And I don't know why, but that really made me laugh.
I doubt it's that funny, mate,
no,
but
it's
I
not.
look forward to seeing it. So there you go. There's a little teaser of another video that's coming up, Hell Let Loose, a World War I, excellent World War II
very good.
shooter, should I say, sorry. But we've got some other new videos as well as a bit of a revamp to the website as well, Callum.
Where they can check out the store, podcastversusplayer.com/store. Have a look at some t-shirts, some stickers and stuff. Sold a Magnum PI t-shirt yesterday.
Oh, I love that t-shirt.
One of my favourites.
Well, there's a few on there. I think the Magnum PI one might be one of them that we're going to have a bit of a rejig. And just tidy them up a bit, make them a little bit more modern, a bit more cool. Obviously, your skills have increased somewhat over the last few years, as well as the systems that you're using. So we can keep the same design ideas and just sort of, you know, make them a bit sharper, a bit cooler.
Yeah.
But I like that. I do like that Magnum PI t-shirt because it is just an ice cream with a big mustache, which is funny. But keep an eye on there because there will be some new ones. So we keep saying that. We've been saying that for literally 4 weeks, and we haven't done one yet.
I've started some. They just haven't gone up.
Liar! Because you haven't included me.
I've still started them. It's irrelevant.
Outrageous. Who do you think you are?
I mean, the designer.
That means nothing. Everyone who works in design means they know that they're not the one. They're the ones receiving the ideas, and they funnel it out onto a piece of paper. That's the easy bit. We all know that.
Obviously, the hard bit is like not doing
Coming
anything.
Up with ideas. Yeah, it's exhausting, I tell you.
So what I was going to say though, Dan, I was going to interject with the store and a bit of shameless plug-in. Also plug-in This week's episode brought to you by the Maono PD200X. Review is on the website and it's on YouTube. There's a link in the description. Go and check it out. It's a very good microphone. And there's loads of other reviews as well. But, Dan, there was a reason that I brought up Hell Let Loose and with it being a World War II shooter. Because
other than the fact that it's a new video that people need to go and watch.
That's the main reason, Dan, obviously. Also, Power World, that's up now as well.
Power World, yes.
But back to World War II. There's a new movie coming out, Daniel. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yes.
And it's a World War II movie. that was going to be the segue.
I appreciate the segue, yeah. Bit of an all-star cast on this one. Guy Ritchie... I don't think there's a huge amount of his movies that I'm not kind of keen on. Like, most of them are pretty fucking outstanding.
I mean, I wouldn't say outstanding. He doesn't make a bad film, but he does all. I do think he makes some forgettable films. Not because they're bad, just because they don't live up to the same bar as some of his greats.
Was the Gentleman, was that the last film that he made? Or directed, should we say?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. Unless he did like another Sherlock Holmes or something.
The Enola Holmes thing, was that a Guy Ritchie?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying, like that kind
No, the Guy Ritchie ones, they were the Robert Downey Jr. ones from
that's what I mean. So unless he's done another one of them that I haven't seen. But again, I mean,
it's not a good Sherlock Holmes film. No. But it's a good, action-y, rompy kind of, I'm going to have a look and see if he's done anything.
A Man from U.N.C.L.E. I really like that.
I still never got around to that,
Good film.
Genuinely didn't. Let's have a look. So,
didn't Guy Ritchie
Lock, Stock, amazing. Snatch, amazing. Rock and Roll is great. Yep, both the Sherlock Holmes, I really like those. Man from U.N.C.L.E., King Arthur. I did watch that.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's okay. It felt like it was. Oh, this is your new trilogy right here, and then
nothing. There's only been one.
The Aladdin, the new live action Disney Aladdin.
I was thinking, he's done a film reasonably recent that it wasn't a Guy Ritchie film.
Not in the sense of that's what you'd associate. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's from the guy who made Lock, Stock, and Snatch, Aladdin, a Disney retelling. The Gentleman, something called The Wrath of Man in 2021. Jason Statham. Never even heard of it, frankly.
Is it anything like The Beekeeper?
No, I've seen him on a. What happened to Jason Statham? Like, why is he just in a bunch of dodgy?
These are all the films he's ever done, Dan. I like the Transporter and stuff. I like the Transporter, the first one at least.
Yeah.
And then everything else he's done is just generic. And the Transporter's generic, but it was at least slightly different to a lot of the other films out at the time. And he had a cool number plate.
Frank. Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. I can't say I've heard of that, but that's a Hugh Grant, Jason Statham kind of thing. Maybe that's all right. The Covenant, which is, I think that's a Jake Gyllenhaal army movie. I remember seeing the trailer for that and thinking, oh, that looks pretty decent, and then forgot about it. And then his next one being the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Which is a true story.
I would put little stock in that, quite frankly.
I imagine the people existed, and this was like the first Black Ops style.
I imagine that there's certain elements of it. This looks like it is just, if Quentin Tarantino directed a military operation, this is what it would look like. It looks like it could be a bunch of fun. So we've got Henry Cavill, who potentially playing a more jokey and funny kind of thing, rather than just like a stoic...
bit of a madman.
Yeah, a bit of, I've seen him about 4 times in that trailer with his tongue out going, which, not very army-like, but sure. But I think there's also I think it's in Battlefield 5, I think. Oh, no, Battlefield 1, sorry. Not the first Battlefield, it's the one called Battlefield 1. Yeah. There's a story, a part of the story missions, the single player campaign, where there's a guy who's approached in prison, and this is for the First World War. But he was approached and said, you're a thief, you're a bomb maker, you're a bit of a twat,
you're a
basically.
Candlestick maker.
Yeah, the army's kind of like we're putting together like a Black Ops Special Forces kind of unit. You know, they're like the earliest inclination of like, you know, an infiltration unit that can sneak in, blow a bunch of hangars up, and like cripple enemy airfields and that kind of thing. And then from there, like that's kind of where like more specific like special forces thing. I don't know if that's specifically that mission, that those people, whatever. That's based on real people, real events, or anything like that. But I get the sense that the first kind of like, you know, we've got a Black Ops mission that's going to be, you know, it's all under the table. You've got to sneak in, you've got to do a thing. I imagine that those kinds of missions, they were very, very like based in stealth and not running around with machine guns and shooting 50 people on a train or whatever. Like it was you wouldn't know that anything had happened until after the fact. I imagine
the point
it's
of a Black
more
Ops unit.
kinda, is that you never know that they were there, or it's already too late to stop them or whatever.
The people they play. So we've got Henry Cavill. I'm just going to go with these two people. We've got Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson, aka Reacher, aka Hank from Titans. The guy Chad from Blue Mountain
Scully
State.
from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Young Scully at least. But on the Wikipedia page for this film, they're the only two whose characters have Wikipedia thing. So the characters playing. So Henry Cavill is Gus March Phillips, and Alan Richardson is Anders Larson, who are both named as being in this base backup unit. I haven't read more into it, just in case there is any kind of story elements into it.
I imagine it would be very...
It's going to be loosely based on it, isn't it?
Loosely being the operative word.
Yeah.
It'll just be, you know, sort of, they did go to this place on this date, and they did do a thing that stopped this, but they didn't have a team from around the world of multi-language spies and, you know, demolitions expert and a ass-kicking ninja or whatever.
That wouldn't be a good film, though, if they're like, right, we're going to put a team together. These three here.
And be quiet, don't shoot anyone, don't get seen, sneak across, and then come back. And you did it. Nice.
Cool.
Was there any problems? No. Went off without a hitch, mate. It's fine.
No one can ever know.
Except for 100 years where we have to tell the public anyway. But I think other than Henry Cavill, there was... I'm annoyed because I saw the trailer again for Argyle earlier and it's kind of thrown me out.
Well, I've got the list here if you want me to go through them.
Please, yeah.
So we've got Henry Cavill, Isaac Gonzalez, Alan Richardson, Henry Golding, Alex Petfier.
Is that the dude that plays in Benga in Star Trek Strange New Worlds?
No, he played the main character in the 2006 film version of Stormbreaker. He looks about 12, mate. He's a British actor and model.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't recognise him. Hero Fiennes Tiffin. Another actor / model. I'm butchering all of these names. Babs Olsen Mulqueen.
That might be him.
He's in Black Mirror. And he's in Max Payne 3 as Serrano.
Black Mirror?
And he plays Jamas in June.
Who is he in Black Mirror?
Doesn't. I mean, I'm sure it does if I click into it, but...
is it the dude that... it's from the Museum of Black Mirror... It's the...
Black Museum. He plays Clayton.
Yeah, which is the guy who gets electrocuted forever. That is the guy who plays in Benga in Star Trek. Like, he's the Doctor. Because I saw him in that, and I was like, hello. Like, I don't think I've seen you in a movie before. This is a nice little change of pace to see a Star Trek actor just pop up in a movie randomly. And
Henry Cavill was The Witcher, which is also based on a video game. Star Trek has a video game. I'm back in, Dan.
Is this the 7 degrees of Star Trek?
Yeah.
Like, anything we ever talk about, any event, in 7 steps, we can revert it back to Star Trek to some degree.
Before I butcher anyone else's name, I recognise Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson, and that's it.
I like the fact that it's not like a it's 400 people that you recognise.
Yeah, so I'm fine with that. It's the only other person is where's he gone? And that's only because I just hovered over him. Somebody who was in Inglourious Bastards. Now,
Ooh.
I don't recognise the name, but as soon as I saw the face, I was like, oh, I know who that is. Timon Valentin Schweiger. Schweiger?
Oh, yeah, he played Stiglitz. Because I'm assuming that he's either, like, he plays a very similar role in this, either that he's a German defector, a Nazi defector, or he's going to play the main bad guy,
Potentially.
maybe. But I saw it because he's got a very recognisable kind of face.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I mean. Like, I didn't recognise the name, but when I hovered on the name and the picture came up, I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. But I've got a very sort of like Inglourious Bastards kind of feel to this. It's just like, it's just going to be, again, like your actual historical accuracy is going to be like a 2, if that. But everything else is just it'll be a fun ride, just shooting Nazis.
I think that's
with your tongue out.
I do have a feeling that, like Gary, she just said to Cavill, like just be mental, like just be proper crazy. And that's the first thing. He's just like, I mean,
just do that and shoot some guns. Sure, cut.
I will say though, Alan Richardson getting in a lot of stuff lately.
He is. This trailer didn't really do him justice. It was only like on the second time that he popped up in it. I was like, wait, I recognise him.
I mean, to be honest, he's the reason that I saw the trailer.
There was a bit where like someone's like running through a ship and then they shoot someone about 3 feet away from them with a bow and arrow.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that was Alan Richardson.
I was like, oh dear, this doesn't seem. When you say based on, like really, really loose. I don't remember anyone in the Second World War that was running around with a bow and arrow. Quite frankly,
I mean, to be honest, there's no reason why. Like maybe it was there and he picked it up and used it
on a ship.
You never know. Maybe they put rope on it and they catch fish. That's like.
What? Because this is a ship from what 1200 BC.
I'm just trying to make like potential
No, because it looks cool. That's it, and I'm okay with that. Because they're not saying like, oh my god, it's the realest documentary you've ever seen.
It's a Guy Ritchie film, so
yeah, it's going to be a bit mad. It's going to be a bit quirky,
even down to stuff like Lock, Stock and Snatch and stuff, which is a lot more grounded than something like this, but it was still kind of not massively realistic at the same time.
No, it's you go. Yeah, sure. There's London gangs and there's lots of criminal shit that goes on in the West End, but no, like no one's going to get like trapped in a bookies and stuck with a dog with a squeaky toe.
Exactly.
Like, it gets sillier and sillier as it goes.
Yeah. But I think there is
still
best films.
fucking great.
Like,
yeah, I mean, compared to some of the others, like the King Arthur's or whatever. Like again, the Sherlock Holmes ones are fine, but they're entertaining films in the same vein of. There's action and there's like, you know, the sort of like the Sherlock Holmes vision that he's got when he presses LB. And he can sort of like, oh, I know how this fight's going to go. That's all cool. But if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes, you're not going to watch that and go, oh my God, they captured him perfectly. It's like, when did Sherlock Holmes get in massive fist fights and like beat up 6 dudes in an underground boxing ring? Is that a thing? I haven't read all the Conan Doyle books, but pretty sure that didn't happen.
Was he an opium addict?
That's the one thing that they actually captured quite well in those is that he's on absinthe and morphine like most of the time. He's like off his tits.
Because I mean, what you could say is that like the Guy Ritchie films are more realistic because Sherlock Holmes spent most of his day he was like fighting all these people, but he was just in his living room, just
they weren't there.
His tits, yeah, like wrestling with a dressing gown and some curtains. And stuff.
Watson, I've got him.
I mean, that'd be a great film, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it just pans back, and he's not in the forest getting shot at by a sniper. He's just under the table with a tea cozy on his head, and his housekeeper's just like, "Oh, Mr. Holmes,
you've done it again." But I do think that the Guy Ritchie films, this seems like a proper Guy Ritchie film.
I think this is more in the vein of The Gentleman. Like, have you seen The Gentleman?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great film.
Yeah, I think
well.
There's. What at the end with fucking not Owen Wilson, Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey,
yeah, it's a solid film. That is, I really do like that. I very much get the sense of, oh, if you like that, you're probably going to like this kind of thing. It's not like it's a World War II documentary.
But again,
it's a really cool thing happened, and we'll spice it up and just take some liberties with it.
The fact that one of the posters that was put out, because Alan Richardson posted not yesterday, before he posted a tease for this trailer, and then I saw another thing yesterday before I saw the trailer was a poster, and it's like I assume it's a German gun of some kind, but it's just like you can just see the hand coming down, pointing the gun, and then one of these guys has just got like the middle finger in the barrel to block it. It was like you could tell the kind of film it's going to be just off that. And if you go into like, I don't know, I can't think of what was Saving Private Ryan.
A film?
No, I know that, but I mean, like, what was the war for that?
Are you winding me up?
No, joking. But I mean, what I was going to say was, if you go into this thinking you're going to get a Saving Private Ryan or The Thin Red Line or like an actual proper war film, then you deserve to be disappointed.
Yeah. I think, again, if you were just looking at the trailer, you're like, oh, this doesn't seem very realistic. Like, yeah, you're right.
I'm going to go and watch this King Kong trailer.
Also, I'm pretty sure that with human beings the size of Alan Richardson and Henry Cavill, no human could have possibly been that big in the 40s.
Not back then.
Like,
he struggled these days.
But that's when they're paid to do it.
Yeah.
Like, no one's like, oh, you're a criminal, but you're also 6'4" and made of solid muscle.
What's that? They don't go, right, we need to put a Black Ops team together. Let's get the two biggest men in the world.
One of them we've had to import from America.
They are. I mean, I really like Alan Richardson, and I'm glad he's getting, because he's got this film, another film. I'm sure he's got 3 that are all out this year, as well as obviously
Good.
Reacher and everything
I think
else.
Reach is like, that's properly opened him up.
Definitely,
I think, like, in terms of exposure. But like in that, he's not just like, he's just a gorgeous shredded, dude, just sort of like delivering lines like I would. Like, he's funny, he's quippy. Like he at least appears to be but this is exactly what I said to you. Like when I watched it, I was like, no one who's that hot, that's that muscly, can be that smart.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. You can't be that intelligent and be shredded. But I really like him. Like, frankly, I really quite rate him now. Like, seeing what he can do. So I think that something like this, where it's just like, it's quite a big. It is a big film. It's Guy Ritchie. Yeah. It's big names that you're going to be working with. You don't have to be deliberate. It's not like a period piece where you need to be dramatic and you need to be a proper actor. Yeah. It's like, we'll give you a bow and arrow and shoot someone right in front of you. Go for it.
He's sticking his tongue out. Just do the same if you want.
Yeah, it's just, if he's going to be the sort of the weirdo maniac, are you going to be the straight man? It's like, oh, well, I'm here because I'm setting up the CIA. That's how that's all going to be. It's like Henry Cavill's setting up the SAS and he's setting up the CIA, and then it's like Metal Gear. It's like a Metal Gear team.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
yeah.
There's always like, this guy's an absolute revolver idiot, but he'll go on and set up a military company and build mechs and whatever. Like, they could all go off and set up their own specific units within their own specific nations, maybe.
It's quite a thing that you said that, because there's a chap in the trailer that he does like a trick with a gun, pull it like where he comes out of the sleeve when they're like doing the training thing. Again, it literally just because you said Metal Gear, obviously Revolver a lot.
I'm pretty sure that like slide out thing, like for a pistol, I'm pretty sure that is something that was. I don't think that's like any crazy like inaccuracy, like.
I mean,
historical inaccuracy. I'm pretty sure that they were around in like the 1890s.
Realistically,
like pistols and a sling.
As long as there's been a law around weapons, people will have to try and like hide them. But if you've got one, it means some point you're going to use it, which means you need a way to like unconceal it.
Zip. Yeah.
So most likely, maybe not as cool and what's it as that, but
what it should be is go gadget secret pistol, and then it pops out, and then you get to shoot them.
What if? Because obviously, I assume Hitler's going to make an appearance at some point during it.
Who?
Hitler.
Oh, what you said, Hill? As in like
Hill.
Jonah Hill?
No.
I was like, really? Do you reckon?
Jonah Hill or Maria Hill from the Avengers. But what if they bump into Kung Fury?
I mean, it might be a bit fast and loose with the truth, but I don't think they could fly away on a giant metal golden eagle somehow.
Oh, it's Mecha Hitler. Such a good little movie. But Alan Richardson, though, was actually in the latest Fast and the Furious film.
Ah, well,
I've
if
not
we
seen
bothered
it.
to watch any of those
seen it.
Fast and Furious films, we would have known that going into
The
it.
only reason I know that is because when it was coming out, he posted a clip on Instagram. And it's like there's so many fucking people in it. It makes the Expendables look like a small cast. And like there's all these people stepping out of cars. But because all the cars are very similar looking and the same colour, it looks like they're all like it's a clown car and they're all getting out of it one by one. And like that was his tagline thing, and it was something like even though they spent a lot of money on the cast, we have more than one car, I promise. Like, that's nearly funny enough to make me watch it, but I'm not gonna.
No, but to be fair, if that's the case, then that's probably what's opened him up to a lot of people.
Yeah.
'Cause they're like huge movies, so people will be like, "Oh, he's another shredded guy that's driving a big car or whatever. Whatever, they're going to space or lasers or."
I don't even know what this one would have been about.
Like he turns up and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a nano microbiologist." Of course you are, mate.
Nano microbiologist.
No.
Most of the Fast and Furious cast can't even spell nano.
But they're all hackers and kung fu experts, and everyone can drive a car better than anyone else in the world. And whatever, I don't care. I don't want to talk about those movies.
No. But I think considering the caliber of people that we've got, I mean, just Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson are two of the biggest names going at the moment. No, obviously Henry Cavill's going to be the big draw of the movie, but they look to be from this trailer alone, it looks to be a solid team where someone's going to have a favourite person, like the Power Rangers or Pokemon. You know what I mean? So like you'll see, I like stuff like that though, where it kind of makes not inclusive. That's the wrong word. What am I trying to think, Dan? Where it appeals to everyone.
Yeah,
Who's over 18, obviously.
Yeah, it's just making a diverse cast that again, this is not a historical document. No. So the odds of having someone who's Hispanic, who's black, who's Asian, and two white guys on like a mission for the British potential Secret Service, whatever that's going to be, probably quite unlikely.
Yeah.
But I don't really care. And again, like you say, you go, oh, that. It's like we talked about this before when we were watching No Time to Die.
The new one,
Bond. Is that what it's called?
The last one, yeah.
No Time to Die. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So we were talking about this a few months ago, and Craig was great in it. I really liked. I can't remember Naomi something. I think her name is. Who was like the new 007. But we were both just like Ana de Armas, like her like first time in the field, kind of like. Female. Like, I was like, make a film about her. I want to see her. She was so good. And, like, I think it could be the same kind of thing. You'd be like, oh, well, Cavill's great with his tongue out. That's going to be my new hair flick thing now. Whenever I see him with his mouth open.
Move over, Loki.
But there could be, like, of these newer characters, you'd be like, oh, my God, they killed it. Oh, that's going to... I hope I see them in some more things. Or, like, with the director like Guy Ritchie, he clearly has people that he's worked with and goes... You were awesome. I'm going to do another project, and I want you to come back, and I want you to be in that as well. Mm.
And that's what I like. I mean, I'm surprised Hugh Grant isn't in it somewhere, but
I'd be surprised if he's not.
He'll probably pop up.
He won't be. He won't be like on the poster. He'll be Churchill, or he'll be a general in it. Imagine that. He's just been an Oompa Loompa. What's your next film? Hitler. I'm going to be Hitler.
I found it really jarring in The Gentleman. It's the first time I'd ever seen him not with his Hugh Grant voice.
Yeah, he's a proper scumbag. Like a proper sleazy tabloid scumbag.
He's excellent in it. He's really good.
He's really good.
But
yeah.
It's just that jarring. Only for like a minute or so. But just go from obviously normally it's just like hello, it's Hugh Grant, blah blah blah, and he's like,
I'm from the 1940s on the radio serials.
Yeah, but that's how
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean?
He
Like
absolutely
proper
doesn't.
gentlemanly. Whereas in this, ironically called The Gentleman, he's like, all right, Chico. It's like,
You're right, you filthy cunt.
I'm gonna have to beep
But
it
if
now.
No, you're not. But I reckon if you were used to sort of like the Hugh Grant, like the 90s Hugh Grant,
Yeah.
you know, where he's the romantic lead and he's like, oh my god, I'm so flustered and handsome. Like, and then he did a few other bits, and then the first, like, you know, he does Wonka or whatever, and then the next time you see him is in something like The Gentleman, and he's an absolute bore bastard. I mean, to be fair, in like Dungeons and Dragons as well, like Honor Amongst Films.
Oh yeah,
Honor Amongst
Films.
Honor Amongst Thieves.
I forgot he was in.
Like, yeah, he's in that, and again, he's a
twat.
You know, he's a team guy, and then there's the turn. But if you go, if I hadn't seen him in The Gentleman playing a proper bastard, that turn where he was just like, haha, I was the villain all along, I'd have been like, shit, that's unlike Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected it. Not to say that he's never played a villain before.
Well, I can't remember him being a villain, and I suppose on certain films, so a lot of the chick flicky rom-coms that he typically does, I suppose you could argue whichever fence you're on, because you'll have Hugh Grant, a girl, and then another dude, and it's that love triangle. So some might go, in this film, he is a bastard. We go, yeah, but...
Oh, right.
But that's because you want her to be with that guy, not Hugh Grant or whatever. But
well, I've got a question for you. Do you think that Jim from The Office should have got together with Pam or with Karen?
Karen.
I agree. Thank you. That's all I wanted to ask.
Mainly, I mean, I can't remember the actress's name now, but I love her.
Rashida Jones.
I love her. She's
great.
She's a real good, and she's got a really good delivery on stuff like The Office and Parks and Rec and stuff.
Oh, she was so good in Parks.
Theirs is an actual organic relationship.
Yep.
Whereas Jim's, you could argue, not what is it when you fall in love with your captor?
Oh, Stockholm Syndrome.
Like, because they're together all day, every day, all the time, and like he's they're messing around, they're doing pranks, they're playing, and they're going to fall for each other in that capacity. But once she was out of the way, then he found Karen.
Yeah.
And the only reason obviously they didn't is because things happened with Pam then. And I'm team like with Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie. I'm team Karen.
I'm team Karen. Yeah, I think like because there's obviously there wasn't a huge amount of like actual relation stuff, but other than like the cool stuff like they're going to New York and they were laughing and joking and doing whatever. But then when like Pam, like when they get married or whatever and they got kids, and like whenever he has sort of like, oh, I want to do something more than this. I'd love to do something interesting. And Pam's always like, yeah, but what about your wife and kids though? When are you going to come back and talk about your wife and kids? Like he does a thing like when he gets up, like they're doing a Dundies or whatever. I think it's the one with Will Ferrell, and he gets up and he gets Dad of the Year or whatever. And he comes up, he's like, oh, he does a little jokey thing about, thank God, it's all, I just try and do the best I can. And that's kind of what being a parent's all about. And then he goes back down, and then Pam's like, so no time to mention me then, yeah? And I'm just like, fuck off, Pam. There wasn't parents of the year, and then Jim and Phyllis won or whatever. It was Dad of the Year. Why would he go up and say, oh, thank you, everyone. However, we all know that this should go to Pam, not me.
Yeah. She's the best dad in the world.
Oh, mental. Like, every time I watch it through now, I'm just like, oh, shut up, Pam. Like, I feel like, when they're sort of like that, like you say, that cute sort of romancy kind of like, it's The Office, the romance that always will be, well, they won't they?
It's the Ross and Rachel of, like, most shows, especially long-going shows, will have a Ross and Rachel style, will they, won't they, kind of thing. Whether it's like How I Met Your Mother, even Parks and Rec has elements of it.
Oh, what with like Leslie and
I can't remember his name.
Adam Scott.
Yeah, well, no, that's the actor's
Ben.
name. Ben. They have a will. Like the second he comes into the show, it's already there. Like will they end up together kind of thing. And Jim and Pam, that was the Ross and Rachel of that world. But I think
I did read something actually that apparently when they went on like the company trip thing to do the Saber store, and like Jim and Kathy's like trying desperately to like get him to cheat or whatever. Apparently that was what was supposed to happen. He was supposed to cheat on Pam.
I saw that, yeah, but like
but Krasinski was like,
Jim wouldn't do
I don't think he would. And they kind of twisted it around. But I think that if you wanted like an actual like proper like relationship drama, I think that, you know, if he broke and then they ended up splitting up, like, how, you know, do they carry on working together, or like that would have been way more interesting,
but not as funny.
Probably not,
because it depends how you do it. Because like you have the elements again to Friends. We'll go back to this in a minute, but in Friends, when Ross and Rachel split up, and then like she wants to take the rest of the guys to the ski lodge thing. And he's bought the foosball table and all this stuff. It's like, because they can't be together, and that'd be the same in the office. Like, how's it going to work wise? They sit like 4 feet away from each other.
Yeah,
there's funny things you could do with it, but it would be a sad situation. But
if you, I suppose it was well past the point of being like this is supposed to be a documentary of like human lives or whatever. It was way past that. But if you'd wanted to keep it a bit more realistic, then that's the kind of drama that you'd get in it, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
that would make it a bit more interesting, rather than just Jim wants to start a company so he can do something interesting with his life, and Pam's like, no, stay here and be a paid per salesman forever. I'm happy just doing the office administrator. It's like, really? You're just happy doing that forever? But you're going to have a go at your husband because he wants to try and do something more interesting or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, you should think about your kid. Well, maybe he is.
Yeah. Because
he's not saying, I'm going to leave you and the kids. Honestly, every time I get through it now, I'm just sort of like, shut up, Pam. I would have broken up with you by now.
I haven't got to that point yet. But to answer the previous question, yes, I think he should have stayed with Karen.
Yeah, I don't think they would have had that much drama.
They'd have had gorgeous kids as well.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Jeans. Outrageous.
Oh. Anyway, what were you talking about?
I'm surprised he isn't in more stuff like this, though.
Krasinski?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he's going down the more sort of like...
I know he's doing his own...
Writing, directing.
Yeah.
He's doing his own projects rather than, just being in a bunch of... Or maybe he's just sick of it. And plus, he's probably fucking so rich off The Office anyway. And like royalties or whatever. He wouldn't need to.
I don't know.
Like, he did Jack Reacher, didn't he?
And then... new season of that's coming.
Oh, so there you go. He's still doing that.
Have you watched Jack Reacher?
No, because I'm pretty sure that when you told me to watch...
Reacher.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan and Jack Reacher.
That's what I'm thinking of, sorry, yeah.
Very different things.
Yeah. Because I was just like, I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise did one of them, but I think Tom Cruise did the...
He did the film...
Krasinski one.
No, he did the film's Reacher.
Right, okay. Which is weird considering Tom Cruise is the right sort of type of person that I think is like smart and like a really good detective. And Alan Richardson, you go, no, he's just a big meathead.
Yeah. But apparently in the books, though, he is like just this fucking behemoth of a fucking... He's just a tank.
Well, then they cast him well.
Yeah, and I think that was a people's big... I think the Jack Reacher Tom Cruise films, they're okay. They're pretty good. But like from what I could gather when they came out, a lot of people was angry because Tom Cruise was the wrong build and height and everything for that.
But it's Tom
person.
Cruise.
Yeah, but... It's just Ethan Hunt, effectively. He's good at fighting.
Kinda.
And he's good at shooting and everything else. But I think Alan Richardson is just perfectly cast for this. And he's a good... I like watching him in... have you ever watched Blue Mountain State?
I don't think so.
Make that your next watch. It's old, but it's a very different kind of Reacher.
I think I've got enough on my list as it is.
You'll like it. It's a funny thing. It's not Reacher at all. It's funny.
Oh, right, okay.
It's very funny.
Anyway, there was another. What was the other movie trailer?
So the next thing we're going to talk about that is
either way, the mission of an ungentlemanly Henry Cavill,
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which is out, Dan,
that's the one.
19th of April this year.
It looks great. Gonna watch it.
Looking real good. Next thing, Dan, which is out 22nd of March of this year, is Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Ooh,
big fat new Ghostbusters film. Now, Dan, before we dive into things, I want to read you the synopsis for the movie.
No, why would you do that?
Why wouldn't we? it's
because if you tell me what the film's going to be about, and then I've got to go in,
I mean, I won't, but I will tell you now. There's nothing in this.
What do you mean?
It doesn't tell you anything. But right. I won't read it.
No, don't. I've seen the first trailer. I've seen the second trailer, which has got me more excited for it. And I'll go, cool. I don't need to go and read the back of the book and just be like, oh, I can't believe it. I knew that was going to happen because I read it on the back of the book now.
Synopsis never have that kind of detail in them. It's basically just a general gist of what it's about. And this...
But I don't want to know what it's about.
This is basically just a condensed 1, 2, 3 sentences about this trailer. Right. That's all it is. But we're not going to read it, so it's irrelevant. However, Dan, I noticed something in the trailer. Somebody that was back. If you're not going to rebuttal it, it means you didn't notice it, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay,
but there's an old character that shows up, not a Ghostbuster.
April.
No.
Oh. Are we talking a ghost?
No, we're talking a bad guy.
Bad guy?
Yeah.
Well, the only bad guys that we've really had is, like, Gozer, Zool, Stay Puft,
a human bad
Vigo.
guy.
A human bad guy. Oh, yeah, fucking Walter Peck.
Yeah.
Yes, I can confirm this man has no dick.
And he got crushed by Mr. Marshmallow Man.
Well, he got covered in marshmallow. I don't know if he got crushed. Oh, wait, no. Didn't the actor just...
falls on him?
No, but I'm pretty sure that they hadn't... Oh, I can't remember what I saw this up, but they hadn't warned him or they hadn't tested it or something like that and just dropped it on him. And it cleaned him out because he just wasn't expecting... I'm pretty sure that's what happened, that he was like... It wasn't like a stuntman or whatever. Like, they just dropped it on him and they didn't know it was going to, like, just knock him completely over. Yeah, basically, yeah. But yeah. What a great get to come back and just be... no, I know that you're all Ghostbusters, and I know that ghosts are real, because I had this same conversation about 30 years ago about ghosts not being real, and then saw ghosts. However, we don't need you ghostbusting, not in this town. So I assume he's what? He's the mayor or something now, I guess?
He's something like that, yeah. That kind of, maybe something to do with the police, or I don't know. He obviously doesn't go too much detail into it. But we get to see some old Ghostbusters. We get to see some new Ghostbusters. As far as trailers go, it's fucking great.
I'm dead excited for it. Like the first one, I felt was a bit more reserved. It held back a bit on being a silly, weird film.
I think it's just sort of like the other one.
It is, but they just sort of like, okay, well, it's not anything to do with the last Ghostbusters film. It's to do with the one from forever ago, the good one. Remember that, or the good two? I like the second one. People don't like it for some reason, but I quite like it.
But I get nostalgia.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's a continuation of it's that, and it's just into the end. You know, we just want to do a bit of setup. We're not going to go, oh my god, the world's going to end again because of Slimer or whatever. And I totally buy it. Yeah. It was just sort of like, yeah, you know, it's a new set of Ghostbusters, but they do the sort of the handing the baton over and just being like, yeah, okay, cool, you're the Ghostbusters now. But then they've leaned into it, so it's not as if they go, right, we've got Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and what's his fucking name?
I can't help you because I genuinely can't remember.
Well, that's well annoying.
What I have got though, Dan, is the cast list. So,
what the fuck's his name?
Ernie Hudson.
Of course it is. So they get those, but they've got them back for this one as well, and not just as like, because when I saw like Dan Aykroyd in like his like Ghost Shop or whatever it is, I was like, oh, okay, well they've still they've still got them in the universe, and they'll be milling around. But then they just all show up like in uniform, just like, yo, do you want to go and bust some ghosts, man?
Didn't I'm sure Dan Aykroyd had something to do with producing the first one. I think I could be wrong there.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis that wrote it.
That could be what it was.
Because I'm pretty sure that they created
Afterlife. I mean, not the first one.
No, Harold Ramis was dead by then. But you're probably right. But apparently he was like a key component in the 2016 Ghostbusters as well, saying like, let's make a female team, and let's do a new Ghostbusters. And then when everyone was like, do you want to do it again but good?
I still stand by. I think that would have been an okay film if it wasn't like a reboot. If it was just like it's a different branch. I'd have been more okay with that. I don't want to delve too much into it because it's a shit film. But
there's too much. It's just everyone's cracking jokes, and then it's a big fight in front of a green screen. It's just sort of like that's not anything new these days. Yeah. If there was no Ghostbusters and this was the first Ghostbusters, I don't think it would have been a phenomenon.
It wouldn't be like the original was, but most films wouldn't. Like, I fucking love Die Hard, but if that came out today and it didn't exist before, it'd just be a generic guide event.
It's another guy having to fight a terrorist in a building. Like, oh, remember Skyscraper with The Rock? That was basically the same thing or something.
Can you imagine a world where you watch Die Hard and you go, I mean, this is just basically a shit version of.
Yeah, it's a Fast and Furious film, but without any cars in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got less Vin Diesel in that I would like, but and that says something. But no, I think as far as trailers go, this has got me very excited. I really liked Afterlife. I liked the films, like the actual styling of it. I liked majority of the cast was pretty good. The effects, for the most part, I thought were all right. I think some of
they were a million times better than the last.
Oh yeah, a billion times better. A billion times.
Like the car just felt right. There was a vibe that was within it of just like there's an undercurrent of nostalgia that seems to be just propping up, like you say, like the new cast. I think it is a bunch of kids, but I think the majority of the kids, they're kind of great. Like Egon's granddaughter, she kind of carries. Yeah, she kind of carries that, other than like Paul Rudd maybe. So I'm hoping that like Paul Rudd, and like the old Ghostbusters, they're taking more of a backseat. So maybe they they get back into the swing of it. They get back and they do a bit more Ghostbusting, and they're just like, oh fucking hell, I'm 70. I can't keep Ghostbusting anymore. It's like it's doing my back in. And then they split and go back their separate ways. But then they go and see the mayor or whatever, and just be like, we're the old Ghostbusters, and you know who we are, you dickless shit. And these kids, they're going to be the new Ghostbusters now. And he's like, wait, what? What do you mean, kids? I don't know. I'm just genuinely excited to go and see this one. I think it will be really good.
The first one was, it's hopefully at least this is either going to be as good or better.
It's made me want to rewatch Afterlife as well, and kind of because I have only seen Afterlife.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, so I do want to go back and watch that again before Frozen Empire. Frozen Empire? Frozen Kingdom?
Frozen Empire. Yeah. Frozen Empire.
So before that comes out, I do want to get another watch of Afterlife in. Oh, fuck it. Maybe I'll do them all again. I'll have a big old marathon and get through them all.
If I do, it'll be one and then Afterlife.
No. You commit or don't bother. But there's another trailer that I do want to talk about, Callum, that you sent over to me last week, I think it was last week. It's a trailer for a film called Monkey Man. Why does that look like the best film of the year?
Looks phenomenal. And I only recently found out, because I've watched this trailer about 58 times since like last Thursday or whatever. The guy starring in it is the kid from Slumdog Millionaire, who's also directed it. I didn't know that. I never knew that.
Wasn't he? Didn't he make like the Green King or something like that? There's a big to do. I'm not sure if it's the same dude. I'll just double check to see if it is. But it's Dev Patel, isn't it?
Dev Patel, yeah.
The Green Knight. That's what I'm thinking.
That film sounds familiar, and I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, neither have I. But I remember when it came out that there was a big hoo-ha about it. They're just like, oh my god, this film's fucking great. This guy's amazing. But I think that was another one that he was in, and maybe I could be lying there, but I think he made it or produced it or something like that as well.
No, directed by David Lowery. The Green Knight, that is.
Yeah, I might be thinking of something else then. But directing Monkey Man. Is it Monkey Man? Or am I just being an idiot? Yeah. Produced or executive produced by Jordan Peele, which is, I mean, that guy knows how to make good movies.
Again, based on the trailer, they seem to be a match made in heaven.
Kind of. Like, I just think that this is going to be like a new John Wick. In that sort of like, it's proper brutal violence, but it's a guy get the shit kicked out of him. Do you 24/7?
Do you think? I mean, again, we've only seen like a 3.5 minute trailer. That's all we've seen for it. Judging the trailer just on its own merit, do you think this can spawn a franchise, or at least a trilogy or something, or is it going to be a one-off?
I have a feeling that it's been made as a one-off. But if the sort of the John Wick crowd, maybe if they're going, oh, these John Wicks, they're, started incredibly strong. And as with anything, it's diminishing returns. There's only so many times that you can shoot someone in the head and have people go, fuck me, this is incredible. This, though, it seems like it's way more like close quarters. It's people up in people's faces and just like beating, like, just like, it's almost like it's like an old school kung fu movie, like a Jackie Chan kind of movie where there's like it's just using the environment and like stabbing people. It feels like Hotline Miami, the movie. It's just a guy just busting through, just smashing people's faces in, and then like stabbing guys in the eye. Like there's a lot about it that seems just sort of like it feels like there'd be a lot of moments which I kind of love in like these kind of like high octane action movies where someone will do a thing and they'll like. They'll do a move and they'll do a move and then they'll break the hand like right in front of the camera or whatever, and I'll go oh, because I didn't expect that to happen or be quite so visceral or whatever. I feel like that's the sort of movie where there's going to be a bunch of that.
Well, that was the. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. Like this seems as hardcore as some of the scenes are in John Wick. This seems far more visceral in terms of the damage that's done to a person when they get the head crushed into an ashtray, or they get a microwave door opened, like slammed on the head and stuff like that. And I think it helps the fact that he's not John Wick, and he does get hurt, and he can't jump through a plane of gas, a pane of glass,
a bulletproof suit.
Yeah,
I mean, but like John Wick's kind of like a hyper realistic like action film anyway. It's like, well, no one can really fight like that. No one can kill 50 guys in a room. Like with just 6 bullets and a
pencil.
Pen. Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that can't really happen. But it feels like, oh, this guy, if someone else has a go at him as well, he's fucked. Like, I love the bit where he's just been kicking the shit out of a bunch of people. He's covered in blood. He's probably had the shit kicked out of him. And he runs down the hallway and he goes to throw himself through a window, just bounces off it.
Stands up.
And then he gets up and he's like, fucking hell. And I was like, oh, that's so good.
But that kind of stuff, like, I know this is going to lead more into the Bollywood style movies than probably Jackie Chan, but it's those moments where we've talked about it before. I don't think we've talked about it on a podcast, but we've definitely talked about it, where there's parts of Jackie Chan films that I really like that make it feel realistic. And it's stuff like that where Jackie Chan, he has just like launched a guy through like a fence or something, and then he's turned one of the slats into a seesaw and he's fighting someone, but then he'll get hit on the head and he's just like, oh! And that's what this reminds me of, like that kind of...
But without the comedy.
Because it's still funny, because like that he's obviously going to escape, but he's fell.
I don't think that's like a slapstick sort of like bong.
No.
He's going to get going.
I think it's just like again, same as there's elements in John Wick that's just like there for like a quick chuckle, like not pause the film because you're pissing your pants laughing. You don't want to miss anything. It's just like and then you move on. But I like that. But I this is going to be very much, I think anyway, you've really over the top Bollywood action films that.
I hope so. Like
I do hope so. Yeah.
Like the kind of the color palette that's in it already. It's like it's very dark and dingy, and then it's like incredibly vivid, like oranges and blues, and as long as there's not a fucking song in there.
I mean, there might be, but there's that shot when I think he's coming out of an elevator, and all the lights are just red, and it's like he's almost silhouetted out and stuff like that. Such
it feels
a good
like
shot.
it feels like a very modern graphic novel.
Yes, that's
like
yeah,
feels like it's
shot.
based on something like that, like artistic wise anyway. So I'm really looking forward to that. Like a couple of the other films that we talked about, they're great, and I definitely want to see them. That's the one that I'm like, I have to see this.
Yeah.
Like
Quite
maybe I want to see
well.
another trailer. Kind of, yeah. But it could be like one of those sort of like low key things, like Upgrade was. Like that was.
Yeah.
It had a very specific style in mind, and it was a very specific vision, and it wasn't a huge thing. It was, it was very condensed. It was a very small kind of story, but it was very heavily stylized, and that's what really interested me about it, and that's what sold
Except the
me
end.
on
I
it.
didn't like the end. No spoilers, but
No, I disagree, because I think it sets itself up for potentially a sequel. Whereas I think that something like this, potentially from what I've seen, or what it feels like to me, is that they've written this as a one and done, and then it's going to take off.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, this is the new John Wick. I know it will be like, the Indian John Wick. That's what it will be.
Effectively, yeah.
And that's a bit reductive, but whatever. But then I'll be like, then I think it'd be like, fucking hell, we could make a fortune off these. Let's crank another couple out.
Well, I'm sure there was a thing that I read.
What if there's a Monkey Man John Wick crossover?
Who you would win? Monkey Man or John Wick?
No, not fight. No, it'd be a Godzilla versus King Kong. They both have a fight. One wins the other, and then they've got to take out a room of 100 dudes.
It's Mecha Monkey Wick.
What, they got to Megazord it up?
Yeah, they do it together.
Yeah, that'd be good. Like one on top of the other's shoulders in a giant bulletproof
just a trench coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and again, this is just basing it completely off a trailer. It feels like that I can't remember the species of the monkey, but the white monkey is seen as like, this is like Batman kind of thing, where it's got maybe like folklore or like Robin Hood, that kind of.
It's like a Zorro.
Yeah, like helping the poor or whatnot. So even if like Dev Patel's character dies in this, someone else could pick up the Monkey Man mantle, and they could just continue to make it, depending on how successful it is. Or we've misconstrued that completely, and that's not. it's not a thing at all. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is like the birth of the biggest warlord in whatever city this is supposed to be set in, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Monkey Man, go!" And it's like, "And I'm taking over your businesses."
Yeah. He was the bad guy all along. I mean, that could be the thing. We don't know.
Maybe, but there was like there's only a few ways of kind of like immediately kind of like setting in stone. This is your bad guy, and there's definitely no turn here. They're not going to see the error of the ways. Like there's an example I use in Extraction a lot. The Chris Hemsworth Netflix
film. It's all right. That is.
So I really like it. I haven't seen the second one
I
yet.
haven't watched
I need
the second
to.
one.
But there's a bit in that where like there's the sort of the gang leader, or the criminal kingpin, whatever he is. Like there's, I can't remember what it is. Like there was a kid that had stolen something or whatever it was, and they had like all his like children, like these poor homeless children thieves.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoever it was, own up now, or you're done for, sort of thing. And obviously nobody does. And then he sort of like signals to one of his bodyguards. He walks over to this group of kids, picks up one who's about 6 years old, and just throws him off a roof. And I was like, that's brave. Like, okay, like if that guy, there's no way that he either gets out of this alive, and there's no way maybe I don't know if he gets killed necessarily. Again, if he's sort of like a big overarching villain, like over a couple of movies or whatever, but there's no way that he's going to see the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And like, then he's going to be like, actually, I was a double agent all the time. Yeah, remember that kid you threw off a building? No, you're not.
Maybe they did it like the Spider-Man games, where you throw a guy off, but he's put a web thingy on, so when they go off, they stick to the side of the building.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really see how high up it was. That could have just been one story. So he just threw him off a bit, and he just landed on some. No, he didn't. He's dead. He's 100% dead.
Sad. the worst bit about that is that probably happens a lot.
Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't seem like the sort of thing that would be like, oh my god, that would never happen. And it's like, that's probably not super far from the truth.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get bogged down on depressive stuff like that. We got Monkey Man to talk about.
But yeah, that looks sick, and I genuinely can't wait for that. I've been recommending that trailer to a few people.
April the 5th this year. Not too far.
It's not too far. When does Fallout start? I think that's at the start of April as well, isn't it? Mid-April?
I'm fairly confident it's April, but I couldn't tell you if it's at the start, middle, or end.
Yeah. But I've got a feeling that April's definitely going to be a good month.
Of course it's Easter.
Oh yeah, all the chocolate.
Fallout, Amazon, is out 12th of April, Dan. USA.
Ugh. So... maybe the next day, maybe the following week.
I've got a feeling it'll be because it's a... Oh, no, because on Wikipedia, it just says April 12th. Doesn't specifically say USA, but Google said USA. So,
well, let's just assume it's either going to be on that day or the one afterwards anyway. But yeah, that means that we've got the Henry Cavill Extraordinary League of Incredible Bastards, or whatever it's called.
19th of April.
Yeah.
Well,
Monkey Man, Fallout.
Monkey Man first, then Fallout, then Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and then the following month, Ghostbusters.
That's a pretty good start to the year. I'm quite happy with that. And then we got Deadpool like a month or two after that, I think.
July 26th.
Are there any other, like, because it's not as if we've got like a new big thing. It's like there's no new Bond, there's no new big thing that's coming out, there's no new Lord of the Rings, there's no Harry Potter movie or whatever. Like, what else is due to come out this year that's going to be like, oh, that's a good end to the year? That's
a very good question, Dan.
Shall I have a look for you, mate? Shall we have a look and see?
Mission Impossible Part 2. Is that out this year?
No, that might be a next year kind of one, I'm afraid. Films in 2024. No, not 29024. That's in 9,000 years. So, upcoming movies, IMDb. Let's see what we've got. So, Deadpool. I don't think this is in any order other than. Oh, hold on. Release date. Mortal Kombat 2.
It hasn't got a picture, though, Dan, so I'm assuming this is big. Oh, no, we knew it was coming out. We did a podcast on it, you Mel, and Carl Urban's Johnny Cage.
Yeah, I know we did, but that's not number one because it's the furthest... Maybe that's... it's switched around, so it's the furthest one.
Yeah, you need to press the arrows at the side. I assume you're on IMDb.
Yes. Okay, so there's a bunch of random animation. That beekeeper thing that you mentioned,
Jason Statham.
That's the Statham thing. Johnny Puff. Don't know what that is, but I kind of want to see it.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. That Christmas Land of Bad. Argyle. That's that other Henry Cavill. It's like a spy thing.
Real bad reviews.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of it when I saw it. To be fair. Madam Web. Christ, that's out this year.
Oh yeah.
Bloody hell.
We're gonna have to watch it then.
Annoyingly, yes, we do have to.
It might be good.
The Fall Guy, that's that Ryan Gosling one where he's a stuntman or whatever.
That looks real funny.
Yeah, it does actually. I kind of want to see that. June Part 2, probably going to watch that. There's a new Kung Fu Panda. That Roadhouse thing with Jake Gyllenhaal, that's this year.
The trailer. I forgot. We had the trailer for that. God dang it.
Yeah. Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla and Kong, New Empire, that's this year. And then Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So 2 Empire films, all in glorious
back to back
sci-fi.
as well.
Pretty much. Spider-Man, Monkey Man. I'm assuming that if this is in date order, then it's either within the same month or within the same few weeks. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Hit Pig.
A bounty hunter pig finds himself trekking the globe with a free-spirited elephant he intended to capture.
That might be great. The new Planet of the Apes film. I totally forgot about this.
Have you seen who's in Hit Pig?
RuPaul. Rainn Wilson, Lily Singh. Why do I recognise that name?
I was just basically on Rainn Wilson. That's all. I wasn't too fussed about RuPaul and that.
No, I recognise the name from something. I can't remember what. The new Planet of the Apes film.
Have I seen the last one? I know you don't know. I can't. I actually don't know.
That was War for the Planet of the Apes. That was. So that's the one with Gary Oldman and like there's the city. Like there's the last sort of humans. Well, not the last human city, but it's like a big city that they.
I'm gonna have to go back and start watching it and just see if I have.
Because I think that's the one with Woody Harrelson in it, where he's like a special forces guy when he comes in and like shoots one of.
I remember Woody Harrelson, but I also could have not watched it all or just watched a trailer. I genuinely can't remember. I obviously did enjoy it if I did. So
no, I quite like that last one. I think it was quite good. Oh, the Furiosa movie's out this year. Is that the Ryan Reynolds
one? Yeah, with John Krasinski.
Yeah, I'm not too.
I think that looks really good.
Yeah. Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4. Can't believe they're still making those. Hellboy. That's got to be an animated thing or something. I didn't know they were making another Hellboy.
I assume it's an animation.
Yeah, I don't know. Cool. Hellboy stuff, why not? A new Quiet Place movie.
Another one?
Sequel or a remake of Twisters, like the Tornado movie. Deadpool 3. Borderlands.
We talked about that last week.
I know, we don't need that. Although Eli Roth he's directing it. I didn't know that.
Say no more, Dan. 2 down.
Blink Twice, Craven the Hunter.
There we go. That's another one we got to watch.
Cracking year for Sony. Beetlejuice 2, actually quite looking forward to that. That should be kind of great. The
Crow?
Crow? Sure. If that's not been... Oh, Bill Skarsgård's in it, though.
Ooh.
God damn. Okay, that might be good. Joker 2, Venom 3.
Fuck me, Sony. Are they doing like one a month?
Sorry, Gladiator 2. That is a sequel to the Russell Crowe one.
From Ridley Scott as well?
Unreal. Wicked, that's supposed to be an incredible musical. The Wicked musical. If that's like it's a film version
Ariana
of
Grande.
the musical. Lord of the Rings? Wait, I literally just said, oh yeah, we're not getting anything like a Lord of the Rings film or anything like that this year. Apparently we are.
What's Helm's Deep?
Helm's Deep. It's like one of the big cities. Like I think in Return of the King is where like they all get holed up before the massive war. Is like that's Helm's Deep. It's just like it was like a fallback city that was like built into a mountain. I think. Karate Kid, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Didn't know that was coming out this year. The Wizard Hunter, is that a sequel to The Witch Hunter?
I assume so,
like
but
the fucking Vin Diesel thing.
Bearing in mind the Karate Kid and Sonic 3 both just say plot under wraps.
Yeah, let's just assume that potentially they may not come out this year.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Mufasa. I don't know about that.
Mufasa?
Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, I'm assuming it's either another... Seth Rogen's in it. So, yes, it's 100% another live-action animated thing. Mortal Kombat 2... Some Formula 1 racing movie that doesn't have a name yet. Final Destination 6. Apparently they're still going. The Old Guard 2. No way. Did you ever watch The Old Guard?
Yeah, it was Charlize Theron on Netflix.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. A sequel to that. Again, I didn't love the end, but for the most part, I thought it was quite an interesting premise.
BioShock.
Yeah. Did you not know that this was a thing?
No.
I mentioned it a few times.
Pre-production based on the video game BioShock. Yeah.
This news broke about a week after Amazon had said about Fallout.
I did not know that. Don't know how I feel about that yet, Callum. I want to adapt to the fact that there's a Fallout thing and a BioShock thing coming out in the same year.
I think BioShock is the better choice of including Fallout and including Borderlands. I think BioShock's you could get a better show from the world.
I don't know. I think if you spaced it right, I reckon you could make a decent movie out of BioShock. Borderlands would be a better show, and Fallout definitely I think would be a better show.
Yeah, definitely.
The Community movie.
What?
I didn't know that was even in production. Kung Fury 2? A sequel to Kung Fury?
Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Fassbender, David Hasselhoff. No. That can't be real. It's in post-production.
That someone is just... Yeah, bollocks. Absolutely not. Like, unless they manage to just get someone to come in and do a one-off cameo or something. Absolutely not. And Knives Out 3, brilliant. I absolutely watched that. And then Coyote versus Acme. A story set in the Acme warehouse, the manufacturer of anything and everything used by the Looney Tunes characters.
I told you, we talked about this last week. He's suing them.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did mention it. Yeah, there's a picture. Oh, there's Will Forte. Definitely going to be watching that, mate. I love him.
I think it looks really good.
Love him. So some films in there that I didn't know were coming out.
I mean, let's hold out on some of them. I don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah, anything that's in pre-production, it's definitely not going to get up. That could very well be pre-production at the moment, but they could very well finish all the editing and whatever before the end of the year, perhaps. And
then Batgirl could happen, and it just gets canned anyway.
Potentially, yeah. But things like Sonic 3, like Borderlands and BioShock, yeah, if they ended up in the bin, I wouldn't be surprised. But, things like Sonic, things like...
Sonic will come out this year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's too big of a thing to not come out. But, yeah, Kung Fury 2. Fucking hell. Why?
What are the odds, though? We
literally
mentioned
talking about
Kung
that.
Fury, like,
Kung
20 minutes
Fury's
ago.
an amazing film as well. If anyone hasn't seen that, it's free on YouTube. Go and watch it, support them. It was all crowdfunded, I believe, to create the whole thing. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's real good. It's genuinely, I mean, it's not like top 10, but it's one of my favourite films of all time.
It's so stupid. It is like a love letter to the 80s. I like how silly and daft and how great the music
David
is.
Hasselhoff.
Like,
the song.
I was listening to what's it called? Get some action.
True Survivor.
True Survivor. Yeah. That popped up on Spotify the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about this song. This is fucking amazing."
It's still my alarm. So.
Oh, it's so good. So a potential sequel for that, either this or next year, maybe if we're lucky. If they go, it was like kind of like an underground phenomenon. It worked really well. I don't know what the Rotten Tomato score is for it, but I imagine it's either the critics is like, "Boo, absolutely terrible," and the audience is like, "The best thing ever," or it's a resounding success.
I imagine for the most part,
I'm going to have a look for you now.
It was very. I'm looking now.
Oh yeah.
I imagine it would be pretty well received.
86%. There's over 1,000 ratings on that.
That's just audience,
totally.
So there's no critic scores.
Well, probably because no critics were aware of it.
Probably not.
It's like, hey, do you want to review this brand new AAA movie, or do you want to watch this YouTube video for 45 minutes? They're like, no, send me to the movies, or you'll pay for my popcorn.
I think a lot of it would have been, people would have found out about it because of David Sandberg, and they would have gone, "Oh, that must be Andy's brother."
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But there's like, if they've gotten like really popular and like, it's sort of done rounds in Hollywood, and people just be like, "Oh, this guy, this is really silly." It's all one guy basically, but it's like it's on a big green screen, and there's a giant Thor, and there's a T-Rex with machine guns on it or whatever, and people are like, "That sounds crazy," and then they go, "Hey, Arnie, do you want to come in and do a 10-minute slot where you're Odin or whatever and take your shirt off?" And he'd be like, sure, I like the first one, why not?
Well, that's what, like, the synopsis for that on Rotten Tomatoes is just a kung fu cop travels back in time to kill Adolf Hitler. Like,
incredible.
Why not?
Like, you shouldn't need anything more than that to get you into a film.
The thing is, though, even though it's done on a relatively small budget for a movie,
fucking Triceracop.
But
sorry, there's just bits of that movie that they just keep on coming back to me.
And it's silly things like how he became like the Kung Fury. And it's like, I was struck by lightning and bit by a cobra. It's like, It doesn't make any sense.
Don't worry, I can hack you back in time.
With the power glove.
Of course you can.
Hacker man.
Unreal. I might have to watch that again.
I'm going to watch it soon, just before I go to bed.
Oh, fucking love Kung Fury. But a second one to that. Imagine if it's like... Yeah, it's just like, people really like the first one that was made on like a $3 million budget or whatever it was. The studios picked it up and they want to make a sequel for $150 million.
But I'd love that more if it still looked the same as this. But they spent all of the money.
Yeah, it says, okay, Arnie, we want you to come in and we'll give you $50 million of our budget because we don't plan on using it on like insane ILM level special effects. We'll make it ourselves in Photoshop.
Maybe that's what happened. That $3 million, Dan, it cost $630,000.
There you go. And that's the thing. You can give a terrible production team $100 million to go away and make a movie, and they just fluff it. And yet you give someone just over $500,000, and they can crank out something so good. Crazy, man. But yeah, a sequel to that. Some good films coming out this year, Callum. Definitely.
According to that, though, just before we wrap things up, blah, 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 blah. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, it was stated that the project, this is for Kung Fury 2, project would be a clean slate containing no footage from the short film, but taking place in the same universe. In February 2018, Michael Fassbender and Arnie were confirmed to star alongside Hasselhoff in the upcoming film.
How have they got Fassbender involved in that? Like, he's not on a downward spiral. He's still as...
Arnie's confirmed it himself as well.
Sometimes the world just works in the way you want it to.
That's amazing.
Unreal.
Can you imagine?
Not only did we find out that there's another Kung Fury movie, but Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Fassbender are going to be in it.
Obviously...
Are they going to say, oh, Arnie, we've got you in. Here, put on this Triceratops hat.
You're never going to see him.
Like, you're going to be in 30 seconds and no one's ever going to see you. Thanks very much. See you later.
Well, can you imagine making a film just on YouTube? Not for YouTube. You just decided to make it and put it on YouTube for people to see. But the sequel has got one of the biggest stars in the world, Arnie, who was one of the biggest stars in the fucking universe. David Hasselhoff's back. I mean, he probably never left, but
no, but that's still
it's amazing.
People know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get just, like, I was watching the SpongeBob movie the other day, and I'd forgotten that he pops up in that, and he takes them back to Bikini Bottom, and I was just like, what a great cameo for him. Because they just go, it's quick, it's easy, and he gets to fire them back into Bikini Bottom through his massive pecs. Unreal.
Thing is, though, I've always seen him as someone that's just up for a bit of a joke, even if it's a joke at his expense.
Yeah.
As long as I get paid, I'll do it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just like it just plays into the brand. Yeah. Sure.
Seems a nice guy. I mean, he must be, because he was Nick Fury. So
very true. Yeah.
He obviously knows how to take a joke. So
pretty sure he was on Shooting Stars or something like that.
Really?
It was some sort of panel show or something like that. They got him on. Or it might have been 8 out of 10 Cats. I might be thinking of actually. I think it is 8 out of 10 Cats.
It is.
Then they just 8 out of 10 Cats. Yeah, they got him on. Because I'm pretty sure that I think it might have been that one. But Jimmy Carr's just like, do you know who any of us are? Like, what are you? What happened? Why are you here?
The first video, the title is David Hasselhoff confused by the lack of animals on 8 out of 10 Cats.
Yeah, I love it when you get some mad celebrity that pops up on a show like that, because none of the panelists know what to do with them. It's like if you got QI and then
celebrity though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you get Ryan Gosling who shows up on Countdown. They'd be like, my agent didn't really tell me what to expect here.
What are we counting down and how long have we got?
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds to make an anagram. He's like,
what? Anyway, well, I think we'll leave it there, Dan. because
Yes.
I'm all trailered out, and
Movie chat complete.
we got some stuff to look forward to, which is always good. I don't know what games are coming out though. I will say, Dan, before we do wrap up, and I know I just said we're gonna, but I forgot to mention it. Everyone complained about Gotham Knights being shit at launch and multiple other games. Suicide Squad, it went tits up, and it's already been slashed by 38% in price.
Oh, yikes.
So we'll wait for it to come on Game Pass, then we'll give it a go.
I assume it probably will. Yeah.
Well, people who bought it day one have been given like £20 worth of in-game currency. So even though the price has been slashed, you've also got money back.
Come on, Rocksteady. You're better than this.
Are they?
Yeah.
This is saying otherwise.
I don't know. I was kind of excited for it, like with the initial trailers that we'd seen. But then as soon as the gameplay came out, I was like, ooh, I don't know about that.
You should have just kept it as a third-person, story-driven action game. Problem solved. Not Destiny.
Or have like an Ultimate Alliance kind of like, you've got any member of the Suicide Squad that, that's been in the comics for years. I do still want to play it, but I certainly don't really want to pay top dollar for it.
No, we'll wait for Game Pass. It'll happen.
Yeah.
So
It will. And hopefully sooner rather than later. Especially if it's going down the pan as it seems to be.
The way it's going, Friday.
There's something that came out really recently that I saw on Steam the other day that had like 85% off, and I was like, I think it might have been Gollum or something like that. And it was like,
that's another bad
it's
launch.
like it's absolutely been obliterated. But it was like £6 or something. I was like, didn't that come out like a month ago? Yikes.
I think it was last year, if I'm honest. I know it's a very quiet, under the radar release.
No, it wasn't. It was fucking massive. Are you stupid?
No. I meant like there was no fanfare for it.
Yeah, there was. It was like absolutely massively. It was like the first Lord of the Rings game in forever, and it was given to a company that had done, I think it was like a mobile game or something like that. Like nothing that you'd recognise.
I didn't see
as
anything for the release of Gollum. I saw stuff leading up to it.
Yeah, £12 it is now.
Fucking hell.
And that's not reduced. Oh, it is reduced. That's 70% off.
I don't know why.
That came out in May.
I told you it was last year.
I didn't realise it was that long ago last year. Oh shit! Well, that price drop doesn't mean more than I thought it did.
Surely it'd make more sense though for games like Gotham, like Suicide Squad. They know it's bad. Like no one internal's going, "This is the best thing we've ever made," because they know it's not, and it's already got negative like pre-release reviews and stuff. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to go to Microsoft and go, how much will you pay to get this day one for Game Pass?
Maybe.
Plus more people will play it.
I suppose it entirely depends on like contracts that they got signed, or they can't have any exclusivity on one platform for fear of monopolization or whatever. I honestly don't know. But I also imagine that Microsoft wouldn't want to be. Yeah, we'll be the shit games get out of jail free card.
I mean, they're okay to say no, but
like we want day one releases and things like that for games that we believe in. We want people that will draw people to the platform to be like, oh shit, no wait, I can either pay £40 for that or I can get it for free. Well, not free, but it's just as part of the subscription as well as everything else that comes out. Otherwise, you end up with like an Xbox Live Arcade. It's like, hey, do you want to play an indie game that was made by 2 people for a school project over 6 weeks and it's dog shit? Sure, pay for Xbox Live Arcade.
£17.
Game Pass has got some wanting to. No, I don't. But that's the thing. I don't think it's got poor games on it. It's just got some games that maybe you're not super keen on.
Oh.
And there will be sort of more the indie thing, but I think they're more like filler between like the slots between the new things come out, or like the bigger releases come out.
But you've still got the benefit of like we did it with Gotham Knights, where if you bought that game, you'd think way less of it, but because you haven't technically paid for it because it's you got it through Game Pass, you're a little bit more lenient on it because you're like, if I don't like it, I'll just uninstall it. It hasn't cost me anything extra. It's fine. Whatever. Whereas if you just spent 70 quid on Suicide Squad, you're not going to have that same lackadaisy attitude towards it. So I think in some cases it does benefit the game because you give it more of a chance and you kind of forgive some of its like.
True, but you can't maintain a studio on.
No.
Few Microsoft have bailed us out because they would say that they would be grinding them down. It's like, look, you want to be put on Game Pass, then you reach all of our subscriber base. We only want to be delivering quality content, so you need to pay whatever we ask for if you want to reach that audience.
Microsoft like wear them down and then just buys them.
Well, I'm pretty sure Rocksteady. I don't know if they've got like an exclusivity deal or if they're owned by Warner Brothers.
I'm pretty sure they're owned by Warner Brothers.
Then why the fuck would they want to buy them? Like, unless we could get all the properties of the games that you've made, so we get Batman and Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, so we can get our own people on it, we can make our own games, then why on earth would they bother? Like, Warner Brothers wouldn't want to give that up.
It'd be the same as
They're like, hey, Hogwarts, the fucking, like, the highest selling game or whatever it was of 2023. Sure, we'll let that go out the door.
That's never going to happen.
Absolutely not.
No. Warner Brothers won't let anyone go. Any property they have, they won't. They'll utilize them some way.
Fucking Matrix game.
But again, it'll be the same as like Bungie and stuff when 343 took over for Halo and that. Bungie carried on, obviously, as is, made Destiny and stuff.
Like Destiny,
but
yeah.
They can't make Halo.
No, but the guys who made Back 4 Blood, they can make their own game, and it's obviously very similar to a game that's already out. But they can just make a newer, better version of it. They can make the one that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
So you can't copyright
style
how a game
feels. That's how Mass Effect came around. Because they wanted to make their own Star Wars, and not Warner Brothers,
no, BioWare.
But it's the same principle because especially when you look at Mass Effect and the Carter games, it's the same fucking thing, just looks miles better because it was a lot newer. And Destiny and Halo, it's the closest thing you're going to get to Halo that isn't Halo. So I don't know, but I haven't played it, so I'm going to hold off judgment. But so far, very disappointed in Rocksteady. Very disappointed.
I couldn't really be. Yeah, I don't think you could twist my arm. If you were like, I bought it, it's okay. Get it so we can play it together. I'd be like, no, mate. You buy it for me if you want to, but I'm not going out of my way for it. Like Gotham
Surprise!
Knights, it's okay. I played a bunch of it. But it's because it's on there, and I can grind away a bit. We can do some stuff together. Like I'm looking at it actively as like we can do some videos on that. So I'll put some time into it and get used to it. Learn the controls. So we're not just. It's not like it's Pal World where we're just sort of like, what the fuck are either of us doing? Yeah. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where any of the buttons are. That one we could kind of come in a bit more prepared and kind of crack on. I'd do some videos on it if it pops up, but not at the moment. Like I don't want to be these sort of like the people who want to jump on it the second it comes out so that they can make a video slating it. I've got too much respect for game developers. Like they put years of their life into it.
Like they can't make they've had a good run in terms of caliber of games, and I'm sure for the most part, the things that you're overly bothered about, I think the graphics, I think it looks okay. I imagine the combat's going to be very similar to the Arkham games. It's just not the right type of game. That's what I can see being the biggest problem. But I haven't looked too much into I've just looked at the scores. I've gone, ugh.
Yeah. But to be fair, there's been quite a few games in the last few years that have come out to not great starts, and then they found their footing and built themselves up and patched problems and
look at No Man's Sky.
Got more support in. Yeah, exactly. Like it's a almost entirely different experience than it was when it first came out. And people are kind of getting like really defensive about it and just like, yeah, but you don't know anymore. Like it's totally different, and it's unlikely that this would have that kind of longevity. But to say, well, if I went back in 6 months and if they fixed a bunch of things that people don't like, or there's a bunch of extra shit that they've added to it that makes it way more fun or whatever, then all power to them.
Yeah. Can't all be Power World.
I'll tell you what. I know, but I was playing Battlefront the other day, Battlefront 2. Callum, there is no one playing that game anymore. Like, trying to find a server that I could join so I could actually play it online. There just wasn't one. I was sat waiting for 20 minutes over 5 different games. Changing to a different map. I don't know.
Because I imagine there's still a lot of people playing on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure. But because there's not been any new updates or anything, or any new content for it, other than like skins and whatever, it's like another squadron of clone troopers. Hooray. But the problem is, though, is that they can't go, well, there's no new films coming out, so we've got no new characters that we can introduce.
Yeah, but
we'll go back and do some of the...
There's characters we haven't had still.
Like, look at all the people in Clones and Rebels. Like, Ahsoka's not in there. I'm pretty sure. I say that. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure when I was playing, I was looking over, and I'm pretty sure she wasn't.
You know what would be a real good addition, Dan? And I know you'll disagree, but I think you will change your mind at the same time. Bad Batch.
Cool. No.
Get the Bad Batch in there.
No, I'm thinking of... I was playing... What was I playing? The Star Wars saga, the Lego Star Wars saga. There is a Bad Batch. I think it might just be costumes rather than like specific missions. But there's a Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, like packs to like add extra characters in.
I'd seen the Mandalorian ones. I didn't know they'd done Bad Batch. But
yeah, it's fairly recently, I think.
Well, Bad Batch.
I'll say that. Apparently, it could have been in fucking July last year, and time has just skipped me by.
It was fairly recently. Oh, it was 2019 before it came out.
Because it was purely as like a part of the store, or it was like something that popped up because I haven't been on it in a while, so I assume it wasn't super long ago.
And it's most likely just like Fortnite, where they'll just add it fucking randomly, willy nilly.
Yeah, there's a new show that comes. There won't be an Andor set necessarily, but
but it'd be difficult to. You'd see Rogue One before you'll see.
Oh fuck me! Yeah, there is an Andor pack.
Really?
Yeah, for presumably like Andor and like a couple of the peeps that were in it. Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, Rebels.
So it's just the Disney Plus stuff then.
Pretty much. I definitely saw the Bad Batch people in here somewhere.
They've got Lego figures because Logan's got them.
Yeah, there it is. Collection. Yeah, well, it's... When did that come out? November 22.
Yeah.
That must be the game. That can't be when that came out. But yeah, Bad Batch, Rogue One, Solo, Kenobi, Andor, Book of Boba Fett, Clone Wars, Rebels, and Summer Vacation, which I think was that... Like, it was like a Disney Plus mini show.
Wasn't that just the Kylo Ren and thingy? I was going to say Kylo Ren and Stimpy
then. There's a t-shirt for you.
Make a note of that.
Yeah.
But no, I think the Bad Batch, I think you could have some good missions in Battlefront 2 playing as
this, I think, is just... I think it is just skins.
It's going to be because, like, even
explore the galaxy with 400 characters. Like, how many fucking games can you say have got 400 selectable characters? As like
probably like Lego Marvel or something like.
No, even they haven't got that many.
But
100%.
Taking into account though, a lot of them will be the same character. So you've got like
this one's got a blaster. Yeah, this one's got the force.
You got Rex,
it's dead easy.
And then you've got a different clone trooper, and then you've got this trooper. It's like, well, they're all just fucking troopers. You'll have,
but that's the thing. That shouldn't be a there's Rex, and then there's Fives, and then there's this, and then there's this, and it's just a whole bunch of clones. Yeah. It'd be like, no, I want clone, and then you can cycle through the costumes.
Yeah,
but that's not what it is. All the variations.
Typically it'll just be a row of them. Not just Lego, like all games do it.
But there'll be so like Rex will have like twin blasters. And there'll be little variations. Yeah, but if it's just a variation of a standard clone trooper, put them in the clone trooper bin. It's fine.
That's what I used to hate with, like Smash Bros. Does it with a lot of stuff. Like you'll have Mario, Dr. Mario, another fucking Mario, but that's 3 slots. No, it should be one fucking like slot.
50 characters. It's like, yeah, but there's 9 of them. Yeah. But you've just used various incarnations of them. Like you've got Zelda from Ocarina, Zelda from Majora's Mask. Zelda, it's like, no, but that's one Zelda, and then you can reskin it. That's how it should work.
That's what always used to annoy me, because you'd have, like...
Callum, we're just going off on one here.
Like, you'd have Link, and then you'd have, like Wind Waker Link which was he's cell shaded, but he's still Link, and they've got the same moves and everything else. It was like 3, maybe 4 different ones. But then Zelda was Zelda, and her alternate costume was Sheik. Yep. But they've got different moves, so that should be a different character.
Yeah.
It was just annoying. That's all.
Yeah. I think it's easier to sort of Lego thing out than a Smash Bros thing out.
No, yeah.
Because it's not like 50 different move variations. It's like he's got a gun, so give him an aim thing and he can get behind cover.
He can walk in any direction and jump. That's all they need.
There's still a bunch that I need to do on. I haven't done like the Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, and whatever the last one was.
Done Rise of Skywalker. I think that's the only new one I've done. Like on the collection.
Well, no, you got to do them in order. Like, so it goes Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that's the only one I've done all the way through.
What was the fucking second film?
Force Awakens. Rise of Skywalker.
No, that was the last one, wasn't it?
And the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of Naboo.
Because it's the thingy one, isn't it? Directed by...
It's the last one. Not the last one.
The second one. I forgot his fucking name.
Force Awakens.
Rian Johnson, The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, and then Rise of
Skywalker.
But yeah, I haven't done, because like there was a Star Wars Force Awakens Lego game, which I've got, which I think I did complete as well.
It's the first one to have cover shooting.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. And I haven't played the Force Awakens. I've mainly just been like trying to go back and go get all the gold bricks and all that kind of stuff, and like some of the older ones, because they haven't really been done since like they originally came out.
Yeah.
And like I'm just unlocking and buying characters and ships and that kind of stuff, rather than going, let's fucking get through Rise of Skywalker or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to do the trench run 50 times. It's like, get every fucking minifig.
I love Lego games. And Lego Fortnite. Anyway. Dan, I'm going to leave it there, mate. Don't care what you say.
Yes.
Don't try and stop me.
I won't.
If you want to see more stuff, you can go to podcastversusplayer.com. It's all going along the bottom of the screen. But if you head there, Dan, you can see some reviews. You can see some Let's Plays. You can see some game shows. There's some old animations from a while ago. There's loads of stuff on there, including the store, which we mentioned at the beginning. But it's all going along the bottom of the screen. Check it all out. And Dan, I'll see you on the next one.
Have we got any... Oh.
I don't know. Maybe.
Sorry, that snuck up on me. Have we got any Easter and Pancake Day themed?
When is Shrove Tuesday?
Pan Snake Day.
Pan Snake.
A stack of pancakes, eye patch, with a whoop, exclamation mark over the top of it.
Blink.
Happy Pan Snake Day. There you go. There's a t-shirt for you.
When's Shrove Tuesday?
In like 2 weeks.
Is it? So we can.
It's in February, right?
I don't know. I know it's on a Tuesday.
I know it's close because I've seen like
I've seen the pancake mix in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah, they're ready
pancakes,
to go.
They're crepes, but
no, they're ready to like. It's not the pre-made ones. It's the mixtures. You add water or milk or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that just makes a crepe rather than a fluffy pancake. Because what Americans call pancakes, I think we call them French pancakes, and not like the thick, thingy ones.
Yeah.
Whereas Shrove Tuesday pancakes should be actually crepes.
So is that like the dead thin one? It's
yeah.
Like
So you put lemon and sugar on, and then roll it into like a.
It's usually got. Or you like the fancy ones are like they've got like strawberries and cream and stuff like that inside. Yeah,
that's a crepe.
You're probably right, but I think the mixture to make them is probably the same. It's just very very thin compared to like the American.
I prefer
ones.
them to the big fat pancakes. I like a crepe.
I would agree with you, except there is a place in Manchester, here's a bit of free advertising for you, called Cafe 19, I think it is. And they do fucking outstanding pancakes. Like stacks of and they're covered in bacon or Kinder Bueno or whatever it is. And they're perfectly cooked and they're massive. But the problem is because with many of these places in Manchester, they got a specialty thing that they do. And the French toast that they do is that fucking thick. It's an inch and a half. It's I'm not joking, the whole plate is like that. It's crazy. But you can't reserve a table. And they've only got 20 tables. So the amount of times that I've walked past there and there was a queue, literally a 45-minute long queue, just because you
come for some pancakes.
But they are that good.
Wow.
I'll send you a picture after we're done here because, man alive, they are fucking outstanding.
Wow.
I'm so hungry.
I'll say
now.
it's made me
I've got
hungry more
fajitas
than
for dinner.
anything else.
So I'm it's as close to a pancake as I'm going to get for a while, I reckon.
No, what I was going to say was on Shrove Tuesday, we should make some pancakes and then we can do a video compare them.
I think we're doing a thing for work, with pancakes, or we're buying some in or whatever and having
Not from that place,
pancakes that. Absolutely not. Maybe if my guys have been really, really good, maybe I'll treat them. But they'll be cold by the time we get to work anyway, so it's definitely not worth it.
Anyway, if you want to find out what we do for Shrove Tuesday, you go to podcastversusplayer.com. Again, it's all going along the bottom of the screen, but we are going to go this time because I need a wee. So,
okay, that's fine, and I'm starving.
Excellent. So. Starve to death, you bastard. See you in a bit. Bye.